Welcome to episode 6 of Nant Vara Brews, and it is a Christmas special. My name is Andy, and I'm a home brewer and beer lover based here in Cardiff, in cold and icy Wales in the UK. Nant Vara is a Welsh phrase, it means big stream. Nant Vara Brews is the name of my tiny home brewery, and it is also the name of this podcast. The aim of this podcast is to have great conversations inspired by beer with people who are passionate about beer, and do all of this ideally over a beer. And today it's going to be over a few beers. It's episode 6 and we are getting Christmassy. This time of year we're all building up to the festive season, and getting some nice brews in is, of course, an important part of preparations. All the supermarkets start selling seasonal special beers, so I thought it would be fun to do a blind tasting of a few of them so that you can be armed with good recommendations when you do the inevitable big Christmas supermarket shop, or the slightly smaller Christmas supermarket top-up shop, or the no, we forgot this vital thing, can you just nip out quickly shop last minute. Joining me this episode to be co-taster is a friend of mine from Cardiff who has become the de facto producer of this podcast by virtue of the fact that he keeps finding and suggesting great guests. This guy is the reason why the last episode, the one with Gus Hully, who found a beer for all 32 nations at the World Cup, was even possible. He is a fellow beer lover, but no, he is not the actor who used to play Doctor Who. It's Tom Baker. Tom, how are you?
I'm great, Andy. This is exciting.
Just describe the scene that we've got here.
We're sitting in your front room. There is a crackling log fire. The
Yeah.
curtains are drawn. It just feels like Christmas is about to arrive. We've got 5 beers wrapped in brown paper bags.
Nothing says Christmas more like brown paper
more than
bags.
that. Ready to taste, and I'm excited.
And you've even got a Christmas tree over your right shoulder, so it's all here. Here's the plan. We have 5 Christmas beers from a variety of big supermarkets. We've covered the labels, so we don't know what they are, and we will do a blind tasting. Tom and I will rate the beers on appearance, aroma, taste, and that X-factor characteristic, Christmassiness. After we have tasted, rated, and discussed the beers, we will do the maths, reveal the order of merit, and find out what we were drinking. But first, let's get to know Tom, the beer lover, with a quick beer questionnaire. And you've been thinking about your answers to this, haven't you?
I have been thinking a little bit, yeah.
Well, I expect some good ones then. So, what was the last beer you had, and why did you choose it?
Well, shamefully, the last beer I had was a Heineken Silver at lunch today, which, really is a really bad way of starting a podcast recording about being a beer lover and connoisseur, because
That's honest, though.
nothing says beer connoisseur like Heineken Silver over a Sunday lunch. I think it is a clever ploy with the Heineken marketing department to get you to buy a slightly weaker version of their premium beer.
It's like when Beck's did, was it Via or something that was 4%?
Exactly.
Does it taste the same?
It tastes like, as we talked about before, it tastes like cooking beer, cooking lager.
Cooking lager, yeah.
It is a cooking lager.
Functional lager.
But it was on the shelves of the supermarket I was in yesterday, and I needed to buy some beer, and
Of course,
it was there.
you always need to buy beer.
Always need to buy beer.
So you had a beer with lunch on a Sunday?
Yeah,
How civilised.
Just a cheeky little Sunday lunch beer.
Okay, fine. So your last beer was just a few hours ago.
Yeah.
Before you have 5 more. I like it, that's brilliant. What was the first beer you ever had?
So I think it was a Cronenberg Saison Quatre, little stubby bottle.
Yep.
Probably before I was legally allowed to have a beer. But I think, like many people, I grew up in the southeast of England, and once a year the family would pack the car. We'd jump on the ferry, the P&O ferry to Calais. You'd have a day out in northern France. Not sure there's much to do in northern France, but we'd
Buy beer.
have a day out in northern France. And then at the end of the day, you would go to the local hypermarket and you would fill the back of the car with some bottles of wine and a few of those big crates of beer, and obviously some cheese and some pastries, and jump back on. And I'm pretty sure that the result of that was probably my first beer. So we're not doing anything for my beer lover credentials here, am I?
It's
So I
two
say my
lagers,
first
though.
beer was a French lager, and my the most recent beer was a Dutch weaker version of its adult custom. So there we are. What does that tell you about me?
Right, what is your favourite beer, do you think? It's a hard question. So it can be a favourite rather than the favourite.
So one I particularly like, there is obviously the every beer that you brew is some of my favourite beer.
This is
And
why I
I'm not
invited
just
someone
saying,
on the
I'm not
podcast.
just saying that. Genuinely love your beers, but it's a longboard lager, which is I've talked about this before. It's a Hawaiian brewery. You get it in cans now in the UK, and I don't know, just always every time I have it, it comes with some happy memories. Like 10 years ago, I tried to. This was kind of at the start of that kind of craft beer boom. I tried to drink a beer from every single brewery in London. I think it was about, I worked out about kind of 30 or 40 at that point in time. I think I got about halfway through. But that was that point, it was still quite hard to find
That's a nice challenge.
But yeah, and also I imagine now it'd be almost impossible to do because there literally are so many.
So were you going to each brewery and?
Well, you either go to the brewery or you look online and see if they were serving in a kind of nearby pub or nearby pubs and stuff like that.
That's on a guest tap.
Exactly, guest tap and stuff like that. And that's kind of before you really had those kind of lots of pubs which had lots of guest beers on. Just before we moved to Cardiff, we used to live in London, and there was this little brewery called Bellevue Brewery, which was set up by 4 dads from a nearby school. Common Side Pale Ale, that was another particular favourite. That got me through lockdown. They did off sales, and you could go across, and I would regularly take a work call, and have a walking work call meeting, and the destination was to go to the Bellevue Brewery to pick up a few more cans and then bring them home.
I think there's something really nice about supporting your local breweries, and I think it's really important. Actually, I wanted to mention this at the end of the podcast. I've been, as part of getting into this a bit more, I've been trying to follow more beer people on Twitter. And I've just found that even in the last few days, a lot of the new people I'm following are announcing, our brewery's shutting. I think Beer Nouveau in Manchester shut this weekend, and there were a lot of people getting very sad about that. It was a nice little brewery in the Arches in Manchester. It's because of the pandemic, and also because of the rise in ingredient costs and transport, all kinds of costs. But it's a real shame. Yeah. So I think it's really important now more than ever that we do go and support our local breweries, because they need money to survive, they need trade. So there's nothing better that you can do than Google where your local microbrewery is, go down there, and I find if you immediately make it clear you're going to buy beer, you always have a nice chat.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that was it about Bellevue, and I think it's the same with any little microbrewery or local brewery. Like they're super keen to chat, they're super keen to share, they're super keen to tell you what they've got coming up.
Right. We'll try and whip through these because I'm keen to get. I'm aware that we're not actually drinking anything, which feels wrong when we're recording this podcast, because it is a tradition that we do it over beer. But it's important that we get to know you and your beer identity, I guess. Question number 4: what is the worst beer you've ever had?
A beer called Zambezi, which is the national beer of Zimbabwe. I spent some time travelling in Zimbabwe, and it's one of those beers that when you drink it cold at source, it tastes magnificent because it's a beer that's cold at source. But also you bring a few bottles back with you thinking you want to recreate the memories of being out there, obviously being in sub-Saharan Africa, being, by the Victoria Falls. It doesn't travel well. And I think we remember bringing that bottle back, excited to crack it open, to relive all those memories, all those kind of reminders. And it really didn't travel very well at all. Lovely beer in country in Zimbabwe, not a great beer.
So you can't separate the context.
I think there's something about the context where you're drinking it with what you're drinking. You can go and watch cricket, right? And beer served at cricket is not great beer.
No, true.
But again, the memory of sort of sitting there with a couple of mates, with the beer in hand, watching great cricket, probably makes it a really good beer, right? Even though actually it's just another cooking lager.
Another cooking lager. You're totally right. And this brings us on very neatly to the subject of the podcast today, because a Christmas beer is a beer that is consumed within a context, the context of Christmas. And maybe if you had that particular type of beer another time of year, it wouldn't work. So, this is what we're trying to get at with this kind of Christmassiness thing that I've put in the marking sheet. So, right, thank you for doing the beer questionnaire. Let's get on to doing the taste test. So, as Tom cracks open number 1, and you can hear it there, here's how it'll work. We have 5 beers. These are all seasonal beers available in mainstream supermarkets right now here in the UK. We've covered the labels, the cap tops, and all that kind of stuff, so we don't know what we're drinking. We will try them all and rate them. To be Christmassy, we're scoring out of 25. See what I did there? It's 5 for appearance, 5 for aroma, 10 for taste, since that's the most important, and 5 for that intangible but crucial quality, Christmassiness. At the end, we'll do the maths, we'll see which beer came out on top, and we will reveal the identities. Tom and I have some marking sheets in front of us. We will mark independently, and the final mark for each beer will be an average of our scores. Okay, so let's go. This is beer number 1. So, appearance. Tom, talk us through it.
So I was expecting all the Christmas beers to be a kind of, darker, richer colour. You kind of think Christmas, you think kind of chestnuts roasting on an open fire, that sort of thing. Yeah. So why I said all this is exciting is this is a kind of lighter, sort of slightly hazy, sort of...
Yeah,
you're the beer connoisseur, I'm just a beer drinker here, so...
not, but I now realise that we have created a lovely context here with the fire and with the Christmas lights and stuff, but it's absolutely useless for seeing what the colour of beer is. Yeah. So, it's kind of pale lager-ish. Yeah. I don't know.
And it's super fizzy, right?
Yeah, it is quite fizzy. Right, so let's give it a smell. Oh, I mean, they all just smell like the bottom of a brewery, which is a lovely smell. It smells like the floor of a brewery.
Well, this reminds me of what the pub I used to work in. It sold Hoegaarden.
Yeah.
And this was before kind of Belgian beers were kind of ubiquitous and everywhere. It was a big white pump we used to have. We had to make sure that we cut the half lemon orange slice to put into the.
You put an orange slice in
Hoegaarden, yeah. And the landlady, she was particular, shall we say?
Okay.
And you had to make sure that the half orange slice got dropped in.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like a lager. It smells more like a Hoegaarden. So
yeah,
I'm suspecting it's a wheat beer. Let's give it a taste.
I was thinking wheat beer.
That is a wheat beer. Sometimes I find wheat beers quite kind of bitter and almost like a beer you experience rather than taste. But this, it's almost a bit like a. Have you had a saison? Have you had? No. It's kind of like almost like a peppery kind of taste for a lager type of thing. It's a little bit like that. Is it Christmassy?
Well, I mean, it doesn't scream Christmassy, does it?
No, it doesn't, does it?
It wins some bonus points
for originality, maybe.
For originality, for being a bit different, for being, unexpected.
It's a nice wheat beer, because like I said, I don't usually like wheat beer. I'm enjoying that. Right, so let's little pause while we fill in our little sheets. Another nice detail for the listener. It may only be one listener, which is why I call it the listener. But I'm sure that I think we are past one listener now. So,
well, we're going to listen to it both.
There you go. So there's two. We'll both listen to it. This may be something that families with kids of a certain age can relate to. One of our kids went through a time where they really enjoyed eating Nutella.
Yeah.
These are the little Nutella jars that then become glasses. And we've just been stockpiling them in a cupboard. And I thought there will never be a time where I'm going to need 10 glasses that are exactly the same. But tonight is the night. So we've both got 5 Nutella glasses, one for each beer, so we don't have to. That we can retain the beers, we can compare as we go along. So there we go. Right,
and that is a commitment to even-handedness in this taste testing. That they've all got exactly the same glass, right? There is no There is no bias in this by introducing a better glass.
No, because if the top was wider or narrower, that could change the aroma. I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head. Anyway, yes, it's fun. So on to beer 2.
Right, number 2. It's a much kind of more reddish, darker kind of browny colour. It's
nutty, maybe
nutty
colour. I don't know if that's a thing.
Hint of Santa's hint of Santa in that.
It looks that it should have some kind of Christmas pun name to it. It probably does.
And I look forward to seeing the Christmas puns.
It looks like a kind of standard bitter kind of colour. Let's give it a smell. I can never really identify what I'm smelling though. It smells like beer,
But if you perhaps rightly said that the first one smelled a little bit like that it come from a brewery,
the floor of a brewery.
This is certainly a more kind of appealing smell, right? It's certainly less offensive on the on the smell side.
More of a finished product than a brewery floor. Right, let's give it a taste.
Ooh, there's quite a lot going on there.
Yeah. Marmaladiness that you might get from a London Pride or something like that. Yeah, it's definitely not a standard bitter. It's got a kind of bitter finish to it. This is nice. This is feeling a bit more Christmassy to me. Like it feels more like one you would have on a winter's night.
Yeah, nice. But I'm not sure it's necessarily when I go back for a
kind of doing a bit too much. Do you think?
Second pint.
Trying to do a bit too much.
Yeah, it's kind of quite a lot going on.
Right, let's do some marking. So just a reminder to everyone, we're scoring. The maximum any beer could score would be 25. 5 points are going to appearance, 5 to aroma, 10 to taste, and 5 to Christmassiness, whatever that means. Time to go on to beer 3.
Number 3, right. Number 3 is another bottled beer.
Yeah. The first one, beer 1, which we reckon was a wheat beer, was in a smaller bottle, and then the next 2 beers have been your kind of bog standard 500 ml-ish big brown bottle type of thing. Number 3, I'm going to kick off the discussion of the appearance. I mean, it looks almost Coca-Cola-ish.
Yeah,
it's dark. Let's smell it. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely smell the Christmas spices coming off that, can't you, straight away?
It smells a bit porty, doesn't it? Raisiny, fruity thingies.
Yeah. Kind of the mould.
Dried fruit.
Mulled wine spunkers.
You can taste the raisins. It's got a kind of piney
thing
going on there.
Maybe a hint of licorice.
A little bit medicinal.
Yeah.
In a kind of, clovey maybe. But
yeah. It's possibly the brewer has been over-inspired by mulled wine when they've come to this one.
I love that idea of being over-inspired.
Yeah.
I just love mulled wine. I'm going to put some more in the beer. No, too much. The resinous kind of pine needle thing, it's almost like you're drinking through a Christmas tree. Yeah. You can imagine that someone dipped a Christmas tree branch in it and gave it a bit of a stir. Right.
Oh, it's bold and punchy.
3 down, 2 to go.
3 down, 2 to go. Well, now number 4, it's the exciting one because it's in the can.
Yes.
So
that is exciting.
Hopefully the effects might will pick up the...
There you go. A strong opening. That's very dark.
Very dark. The last one was a sort of Diet Coke. This is Guinness. Or close.
Right, let's have a sniff.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, lots in that. Vanilla.
Caramel.
Yeah.
Butterscotch. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely the Christmas chocolate selection pack smell, isn't it?
Yes, it's the Quality Street beer.
Quality Street beer, yeah. But this was bought from a
mainstream supermarket.
Okay, so none of the beers tonight are from smaller independent brewers. Most of these are things that you could pick up in your local sort of chain supermarket.
It was picked off the shelf of a mainstream supermarket, and I tried to look at the labels as little as possible because I wanted to keep this challenge as fun as possible by not knowing much. So I can't guarantee. I don't know whether it's an own brand or whether it's just one that they stock. Time to taste. Oh wow!
Well, those notes, those smells you got definitely follow through into the tasting. Nice and smooth, very
smooth.
drinkable.
Yeah, I mean it's a very sweet beer. It's one that
it's definitely an after dinner beer, isn't it? It's not one you want to have with your sort of main course or even before your main course. If you're looking for something to open while you're cooking the turkey, not this one. Yeah. This is definitely the end of the day.
Yes, by the fire. Movie on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Like that.
This is fun. I'm enjoying this. Right, on to beer number 5. This is the one I know absolutely nothing about. So this is one that Tom bought.
This is one I picked up yesterday.
Stuck a load of gaffer tape over. What's it looking like?
Dark.
Let's give it a smell. Oh, wow.
Definitely fruitier
than
the last one. The last one was sort of more chocolate and spices. This one's more, kind of plummy.
Almost red currant. It's quite...
Yeah.
Blackberry type of thing. Beers that smell like this worry me a bit. Because I'm
trying too hard.
Well, no, I feel like they're going to be too fruity. I sometimes, but that's just a personal preference of mine. Like I wouldn't have a fruit beer. Yeah. Some people would love those, raspberry beers, whatever. That doesn't really do it for me, and it just smells quite fruity. But it may not taste that way.
It's like the ubiquitous can you get in a certain beer subscription service that you kind of leave to the last because it's got something like pineapple or mango, and you're like, I'm really not sure about that one, so we'll just leave that one to the back of the cupboard, and then you obviously run out of beer, and you're like, well, you never run out of beer because obviously you've got a brewer.
That's why I make my own. Yeah.
Those of us who run out of beer have to go, right, maybe it's time for the pineapple beer.
Yeah. And sometimes it pleasantly surprises you.
Sometimes, but often not.
Yeah, it's not good. Right, let's taste this. That's an odd beer.
Yeah, disappointing.
I think I'd struggle to have more than a half of that.
Yeah.
It feels like a real mix of things. Like sometimes you feel like it's a porter, sometimes you feel like it's a stout, sometimes you feel like it's a fruit beer. So it's a kind of, and I know that sometimes you can get this magical mix of all those different flavours going on. But I wonder with this one whether those flavours don't quite work together.
No. And as we talked about Christmas beers, hard to work out where in the Christmas day you might have this one.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like some of the other ones.
Yeah, you could think of a time.
You kind of think of the time. That first one, the wheat beer.
That would be a one where you're cooking the lunch.
Exactly.
Maybe?
So a lunch cooking beer. That last one, number 4, felt like it was kind of end of the night.
Exactly. Film. Yeah.
1. 2 in the middle, probably good, solid. Have with a meal if you're not having.
Yeah, or with dessert maybe.
Yeah. Whereas this one is sort of struggling to sort of place where you'd have it in the sort of Christmas day of drinking. So
it might be that one where you just go, well, it's Christmas day, so I'm just going to have another beer.
Yeah, well, it's got Christmas. Maybe it's Christmas in the title, so
it's a Christmas beer. Right, let's mark it. Right, okay. I can reveal that the maths have been done. So just to go over what happened, we were rating each beer, trying to give a total mark out of 25. 5 points awarded for appearance, 5 for aroma, 10 for taste, 5 for Christmassiness, whatever that means, giving a highest possible total of 25. The results were this. Beer 1, what did you give it, Tom?
16.5.
I gave it 13. Beer 2, what did you give it, Tom?
15.
I gave it 18. Beer 3?
19.
I gave it 15. Beer 4?
21.
I gave it 19. And beer 5?
16.
I gave it 11, which means I can reveal that the results in reverse order. And what we'll do is, at each point that we reveal where it came, we'll unwrap the bottle and see what it was. So, in 5th place was beer number 5. So let's find out what it was. That was the one that we thought was a bit too much going on, a little bit medicinal, didn't know when you'd have it in the day. Tom's now going to try and get a load of gaffer tape off it.
Well, I can tell this is the Sainsbury's Merry Christmas Porter.
Merry Christmas. They've even put Merry Christmas in the
from
title.
their Taste the Difference range.
Oh, disappointing. That's supposed to be the posh stuff, isn't it? Taste the Difference.
5.2%. Taste raisin, plums, chocolate and festive spices. 'Tis the season to be jolly. This Christmas porter is made using Challenger, Foggles and Golding hops with Christmas malt and rolled oats, offering flavours of plum, raisin and nutmegs with a buttery afternote. Enjoy with your family and friends during the festive period.
I didn't get the
This drink
buttery.
also the drink to leave out for Santa on Christmas Eve with mince pies and carrot for his reindeer. I'm not sure Santa's going to thank you if you left that out for him, to be honest.
That's a very cheeky marketing ploy, that as well. I don't think any brand or supermarket should be trying to own the drink that you leave out for Santa. I always thought that was a whiskey that you left out for Santa, not a plummy porter.
Interesting, we left brandy.
Oh, there you go. It's different in every family.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Sainsbury's. Your Christmas porter has not delivered what you thought it would to us. Of course, this is just our opinion, but it's come last. Unlucky. In 4th place was beer number 1. So should we unwrap that? This was the one that we suspect was a wheat beer.
Marks & Spencer's Christmas White Beer. This beer is brewed in the independent family-run Hashant Brewery in Flemish Brabant, Belgium.
Okay, it's Belgium.
Using mineral water found naturally underground. This white wheat beer is a perfect match for shellfish dishes such as moules marinière, obviously commonly known to be enjoyed by families up and down the country on Christmas Day.
Choice of the common man, moules marinière.
I might suggest that Marks & Spencer's have simply taken a very decent white beer and put a Christmas label on this to sell it to you. It
does look that way.
Because without wishing to decry the Marks & Spencer's marketing department, I might have read the label at the back and suggested that people don't really. And then maybe listeners could write into you if they do enjoy a good moules marinière, which I love as a dish other times of the year.
I love your optimism about how many people are listening to this podcast and the fact that they would think about writing in. But yeah, there you go. That was not a bad beer, but I think we suspect that it's not really... it scored very low for Christmassiness for me. I only gave it 2 out of 5 because it just... Like you say, it's just a relabeled wheat beer, isn't it? It's a perfectly decent wheat beer, but it's nothing Christmassy about it, really. Someone in a marketing meeting has gone, Christmas, white Christmas, wheat Christmas, wheat beer. There you go. And that's not good enough. So now we're into the kind of medal positions. In 3rd place was beer number 2. Oh, it is Co-op's Winter Ruby Ale. Now, I am a big fan of Co-op beers. They have a deal going with a brewer. I think it's this brewer in Stockport. Which is
Robinson's Brewery.
Robinson's Brewery in Stockport. And their own brand real ales are obviously decently brewed by a proper brewer, and they're about half the price of any of the other things that you might buy, like a Timothy Taylor Landlord or any of those other kind of ales that you'd find. I mean, maybe not quite half the price, but a good... decent chunk cheaper, and I've never been disappointed in any of them, so I'm glad to see this do well. Yeah, I scored it high on appearance and aroma. This was solid. It was a good all-rounder. It kind of scored pretty high in all categories for me. It's a winter ruby ale as opposed to a Christmassy, so it's a limited edition, but they're not trying to hang anything Christmassy on it. It's just something... It is the type of beer you drink in the winter.
Yeah, and I think you'd enjoy this with a kind of solid winter meal, wouldn't you? Maybe it's a great beer to have a few days after Christmas, kind of working through the leftovers, moving on from turkey. I think this would be a really brilliant beer to have with something.
What's the blurb it says on the back?
Winter Ruby Ale, a ruby red ale with toffee and malt notes coming through the rye and pale malts. Gives rise to fruit and deep black currants with lingering bitterness. We definitely spotted the bitterness, didn't we, when we drank it?
This is actually doing what it says on the label for me. It's a winter beer, and I can see it. All those pairings that's going on about, I can see it makes sense.
If you rushed out to your local co-op to pick this up, you wouldn't be disappointed.
You won't be
disappointed.
disappointed.
This is definitely one you could rush out for.
And it's cheap.
4:30 on Christmas Eve and come back with a couple and no one will
And
complain.
it will go down well, and it's come in third in our taste test. So, second place, silver medal, was beer number 3. Let's find out what that was. Now, this is another M&S, and it's Winter Spiced Porter, and it's brewed by Meantime. So this is one where they've... I think all of the supermarkets do this, where they get, proper brewers to brew them a beer, and then either they rebadge it and don't mention the people that brewed it unless you look very into the small type on the label. But this is more of a trend I've seen now, where they kind of shout a bit more from the rooftops which brewer they've gone with, because they know people are getting more into beer and finding out more about it. And Meantime is a name that would mean something to some people. It's got some respect. So what does the back say about this one?
Cinnamon allspice porter beer. This ale is brewed by the Meantime Brewery, as you said, using 7 different malts and British hops from Kent to produce a very well-balanced traditional London porter. And a London porter, of course, is a style of ale which dates back to the 1750s, adding cinnamon and allspice as a lovely aromatic depth, perfect for a winter warmer, which I think we definitely enjoyed. 5.5% volume.
It's pretty strong.
Yeah, definitely strong. And you could definitely smell those spices that came off it when we drank it, didn't we? So
this was the one where I thought they'd maybe dragged a bit of a Christmas tree through it.
Yes.
Which would make sense. Maybe they did. Knowing Meantime,
they
could have done that.
Actively did drag a Christmas tree through it. But very, very, very enjoyable, very nice.
Yes, that's a good solid Christmassy beer. You wouldn't be disappointed with that. So number 2, in second place, was M&S Winter Spice Porter. And the winner, what was it? This was the one in the can. It is Fairy Tale of Brew York. So I think this is not a supermarket owned brand. I think this is from a smaller brewer.
So it's a gingerbread milk stout, 4.9%. Rich gingerbread, cinnamon spice, and heaps of creamy vanilla combined for our annual Christmas stout.
Brew York is the brewery, isn't it?
The brewery. Where did you pick this one up?
So that's from Morrison's. I went into Morrison's expecting to find a couple of bottles of, brown bottle ale, something called Santa's Little Helper or like Rudolph's Red-Nosed Brew or something like that. And they didn't have anything like that. I even looked in the little gifty section where you can sometimes get, a couple of silly labelled beers with a free glass thrown in. But there was nothing, there were no bog standard Christmas beers like that. So I went back to the beer aisle and I just looked for something festive on the label, and I saw the snowman on this label, took it off the shelves, and I have not looked at it other than I knew there was a snowman on it. I knew nothing else about it. So it's obviously not a Morrison's own, but this is, and I know Morrison's is getting quite a good reputation for stocking some quite adventurous beers, and the fact that this was there next to things like Abbot Ale and some Braxbeer and Marston's, all that kind of stuff, and it was just sat there. It's not as if it was just one can of it; they had a row of them. So, good on Morrison's, and it's a really nice beer.
Yes,
and
it's really, really drinkable, isn't it?
What we're saying, I think we can rule out the bottom 2, which was the wheat beer and the Sainsbury's Christmas Porter. Avoid that. But those top 3, any of those are going to go down very well on Christmas Day, because you've got the Co-op Winter Ruby Ale, which is just a solid wintry beer. It's dark, it's fruity, it's drinkable, it's nice, it's sessionable. And then number 2, the M&S Winter Spice Porter. Now that is it's stronger, but you can imagine yourself sitting by a fire and really enjoying that, or having it with your Christmas pudding. But it's interesting that the number 1, the winner, is not what you might expect to be a Christmassy beer, but it's a beer that will work very well at Christmas. And it's a different part of Christmas Day. It's maybe not that plumminess and fruitiness and Christmas puddingness. It's the end of the night with the film and the box of Quality Street, and a really sweet, chocolatey, vanilla-y stout, but they've packed a lot of flavour into that sweetness. It doesn't feel cloying. It doesn't feel like, I can't get through this. It's really, really drinkable. So, cheers to you, Brew York. You have won the Nat Val Brews Christmas Taste Test. And, Tom, thank you very much for coming and taking part in this. It's not the hardest sell, is it?
I mean, what? Probably the easiest sell you've ever had to get a guest along. Come and sit and take some beers before Christmas. I mean, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, And I will actually be going out and buying definitely some more of the co-op ones. I'm not sure if I will get the M&S Spice Porter. I'm glad to have tried it, but I'm not sure I'll get any more of that. But I may well pick up a couple of cans of that gingerbread milk stout, because it is one that I would like to share with other people. So that is probably it for Nant Vár Brews this year, if I'm honest with you. I really wanted to get this episode done before Christmas, because everything gets too busy over Christmas. Everyone gets lost in manicness. But I thought it'd be lovely to have a bit more of a chatty fireside, few silly stories, some nice beers to try, and some good recommendations. So hopefully you can listen to it over the Christmas period and enjoy it, because you might not be getting another podcast episode for a while, sometime in January, but something to look forward to. Earlier this week, I popped into one of my local breweries, Flowerhorn. They were so friendly, said they'd be up for an interview. One of the things I wanted to do when I started this podcast was support the local brewing scene in Cardiff. So that's something to look forward to in 2023. Can you believe it's going to be 2023? But all that is to do at the end of this podcast is to say, between now and the next time we do a podcast, have a fantastic Christmas and a brilliant New Year. Drink lots of great beer. Tell lots of people about the podcast. Like and subscribe. All that normal stuff that we're supposed to say at the end of the podcast. And Ben, this is for you. This is your bit at the end. This is the bit that you wanted. So now I'm doing it every time. It's getting longer and more rambly every time. So I hope you're enjoying that. And Ben, I'll see you for Christmas. Have a great Christmas, everyone. And we'll see you in 2023. That's it. Goodbye.